Good morning, beloved. God is our greatest treasure, and our lives on earth will only be meaningful when we invest them in His kingdom.
From the north to the south, every city across the land. From the east to the west, every town known to man. There's a sound to release, the sound of love, unity. Lord, we stand, we agree, we believe that in this city we release your love.
This is Monday, September 14th, and we are continuing with teaching on kingdom living according to the parables. Pray for me this morning. Due to sinus drainage, I'm working with a sore throat. We have a brand new parable. Matthew chapter 13, verses 31 and 32. Another parable he would put forth to them, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all the seeds, but when it is grown, it is greater than the herbs, and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and rest in its branches." I personally believe that the mustard seed parable is meant to teach us about the growth of God's kingdom right here on earth. I think it was last year that Doris passed out mustard seed necklaces to many of the women in her family, as well as all the ladies in our church. I noticed that you could hardly see the little seed, so I did some reading, and here's some interesting facts about the mustard tree. The mustard tree produces a sweet fruit that is edible. The leaves and roots are also edible. The mustard tree grows to be about 20 feet high and is considered quite large for a garden shrub. The mustard tree is a native of Iran and likes dry, well-drained soil and doesn't need watering. The mustard tree grows very quickly, reaching its full size in only a few years. Let's review the documented record of the early church growth. In Acts chapter 1, verse 15, we read, "And in those days Peter stood up in the midst of the disciples altogether. The number of names was about 120. The first service recorded is Acts chapter 2, verse 41. It says, "Then those who gladly received the word were baptized, and that day about 3,000 souls were added to them." That brings the number up to well over 3,000. The next service recorded was in Acts chapter 4, verse 4. "However, many of those who heard the word believed, and the number of the men came to be about 5,000. That's not counting the women. So we've got a church probably right at 10,000 in a matter of days. Remember my statement that we're not fruit inspectors, nor are we fruit counters, but according to the Pew Research Center, in 2015, over 2.3 billion people profess to be Christians. That's all around the world. There is a glimpse in Scripture of a final number, Revelation chapter 5, verse 11 through 13. "And then I looked and heard the voice of many angels around the throne, the living creatures and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice, 'Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing, and every creature which is in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them are heard saying, Blessing and honor and glory and power be to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever and ever.'" All from a mustard seed of 120 witnesses. Be encouraged, beloved. Today we don't need to worry about the numbers. As we have learned, we just plant the seed of God raising Christ from the dead, and He will add to His kingdom as He wills. Lord, as it As it is recorded in the early church, while we praise you, give us favor with the people, and you keep adding to your kingdom daily those who are being saved. Until tomorrow, beloved, stay watchful, stay prayerful, stay ready in your city. Shalom.